My next guest might not like this reminder, but the Montreal Canadiens have not won the Stanley Cup in more than 30 years. But still, they are the most successful franchise in NHL history. And now, the 24-time Stanley Cup champions are the stars of a highly anticipated original Crave series called The Rebuild, inside the Montreal Canadiens.
You're throwing that jersey on for the first time. It's just so many emotions and dedication that you put in coming to life.
C'est un rêve de petit gars de jouer cette première partie-là de la Ligue nationale.
There's just so much that goes into it for me.
So the 8-episode bilingual docuseries takes us behind the scenes of the 2023-2024 season, featuring players, coaches, and diehard fans ahead of a new era for this team. And one of those diehard fans is also the narrator. Canadian legend George Stroumboulopoulos is joining us this morning, back at his old stomping grounds here at 299 Queen Street West. Welcome home, George.
It's really weird to be here. It's good to see you.
Is it? Yeah, good to see you too. You know this space really, really well. What were you telling me?
This is where I did the Much Music interviews, the Green Day, the Oasis, all of them essentially, the Offspring live shows. Avril and I right there, Evanescence. I remember Lindsey Lohan when she was 14 and I doing a presentation right outside this window, long time ago.
You've got a lot of memories in this space. But
you and I met right on the other side of that wall.
I know. I had just moved to Toronto, and I was producing this series on youth, and I was like, who is the most influential voice? And of course it was you. I'd watched you from back home in Alberta. So I phoned you up and I said, will you chat? And to my surprise, but great delight, you said yes.
Sure, yeah, happy to do it.
Yeah, and here we are.
Talking about the Habs, no less.
Later. Yeah, let's talk about something else you love. Music is one, but your love for the Habs goes back to long before you were ever on television. You once even, I love this photo, you jumped in a lake after they had a really big win. I'm sure you've done other things after they've had a really big win. Look at this.
That's at my friend's Jim's cottage when the Habs advanced to the final during the pandemic run. And so we were watching, and I was freaking out, and they were filming me. And then I went, oh, screw it, I'm going out. So I was so excited. You know, when you live and die by a team for most of your life, and they have this storied franchise history, but they've sucked for most of your life. Any small victory is a thing, and there's victory. Oh, what a beautiful dog, R.I.P. It just followed me into the water. Oh, and my Carey Price jersey,
You and a nation of Habs fans were probably feeling the same way. Where did this love of the Habs come from? And talk to me about the bravery about being a Habs fan in this space.
I think, the most punk rock thing you could have done in the 80s was be not a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs when you were a kid.
This was your rebel phase.
This is my rebel phase. But in my family, my Uncle Paul, who's amazing, was a Bruins fan.
Okay.
There's a man called Lon, who my mother's married to, was a Red Wings fan. My grandfather, who I'm named after, was a Leafs fan. So in a lot of times in my family, we didn't get together to cheer with each other. We would cheer against each other. It's still on the family WhatsApp group. We'll trash talk each other over the sport. So, and coming from Eastern European immigrant family, that's who I was raised by. The Montreal Canadiens were an organization that had a real deep love for Eastern European hockey, and the Leafs were run by Harold Ballard, who did not like Eastern Europeans. So to me, the Leafs were just an organization that didn't like us. And the media was always really negative about European players, but the Habs were a classier organization. So it kind of ticked a lot of boxes for me to be a Habs fan.
I knew what a devoted fan you were, but I didn't know sort of the deeper origins of that. That's interesting to find out. Listen, there's a lot of excitement around this documentary, just the inside look and the access alone. Sneak peek for us a little bit what fans can expect.
I think, the Canadian hockey teams have been so careful about what they show. They have this outdated view of who they are and what they mean. They still mean a lot to us, but it's a different relationship we have now with the way we consume on podcasts and on YouTube. And we don't rely on the big broadcasters alone anymore. We have our own behind-the-scenes stuff. Players on social media. Players have their own podcasts now. So what I love about this and what fans are going to see is the dressing room, the conversations, the big moments, the conversations with the management inside the room when they're trying to make deals. We're seeing stuff we never had access to see before. So it was an easy yes for me to do it. And while I was watching the episodes and narrating it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that happened. So it's a nice
Even for you, it was a revelation. Oh, I love that. Listen, we also know that Habs fans are ruthless. They will boo their own team. They will get up and leave if they don't like how they're playing. Why do you think that is an important part of this entire franchise?
To me, the relationship with your sports, look, the world's on fire, we know that. So you need these little things to keep you going, right? And sports is this really lovely way to kind of settle in and just forget about what's happening in the world from time to time. But it costs a lot, and we invest a lot. So the expectation is you're not just in it to take our money. The expectation is you have to make this worth it for us. We know we're going to lose more than we win.
Eastern Europeans.
That's it, We know we're going to lose more than we're going to win. But if you don't try, and the Habs have been such an interesting organization because, yeah, they won in '93. It was a long time ago. They had that pandemic run, which was lovely, but we knew that if there wasn't a pandemic, Habs wouldn't have made the playoffs in a different system. So this team needed a rebuild, and we feel like when teams keep pushing the same old narrative, they're lying to us. What I love is the Habs have finally decided, let's go. I love the management team. I love what Chantal Maccabee's done. I love what Jeff Molson's done. I love Jeff and Kent, Marty. Everything about this team we like now. Yeah. We actually like this team. Okay. It's the first time in a long time we like everything about the team, or most things about the team. So that's kind of fun. And Leaf fans, you see the absolute anxiety that happens every year.
It's an entire studio full of Leaf fans now.
So it's a deeply passionate relationship. And in Montreal, expectations are higher, which is it's not just a one-way street. Yeah. It has to be a two-way street. Okay. And I think because we have European connections in a lot of ways, that's what they do to their football franchises, their soccer franchises. You have to step up. We'll always be passionate, but we're not just going to sit there and act like we're working on the same team.
So great to have you back here in the building and this conversation. A reminder, you can watch The Rebuild inside the Montreal Canadiens. It is streaming right now, only on Crave. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.